There are two reasons, and two reasons only, why I've come to Gent. One is a space called 019, which is behind me, and the other is Kunsthal Gent. Now, both these spaces treat the act of exhibition making with energetic experimentation, and I've admired what they've been doing for a long time. So this is a kind of pilgrimage in a way. In this video, we chat to Valentijn, who works to develop the artistic program across both spaces. So first, let's head over to 019 and check out what they're doing over there.
019 evolved from just being art students and organizing a lot in the art school, and there was a question from the city at that time. The city invested a lot in temporary use of anti-squatting buildings. There was an open call, and together with some friends we were searching for a space because we were doing a record label and organizing a lot of concerts. So it sounded very interesting, but we never thought we would get it. And we applied for it, and then we got this building. And it was a bit scary at the first time because we had a contract for 4 years, and at that time thinking about what we're going to do here for 4 years sounded very long. Started slowly making a rehearsal space. The money that we got from doing shows got invested in buying wood, and with wood we could make these walls. Originally first they were with theater curtains, and then afterwards they became walls. It became like this train that started driving, and actually so far it never really stopped driving. At a certain moment we couldn't talk anymore about a record label having a space, but it became more a collective of people having the key to this building and co-organizing, co-owning this space, trying to get a public program in here which is mainly focusing on contemporary art, but as well because there are some architects involved on architecture, and most of us have a background in graphic design, and of course everything that we do needs output. There are posters, there are publications. At the moment we've been existing for 8 years, and at certain moments it looked like we were going to lose the space, but we felt that the collective was stronger than the building itself was, and that this building was just part in a longer story as well. So we started also doing a lot of projects, and actually most of our projects are currently not even happening inside the space, but in public space and other cities. At the moment there's this sculpture installed by Steen ter Braak. A lot of people that enter the exhibition are like, is this it? And we always have to grab them and say, no, 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 please go around it, because what we see here is actually just the outside of an installation which is called My Bedroom. And it's a series of works that Steen makes this trompe-l'oeil objects, one-on-one replicas of everything that he has in his surrounding, objects he lives with, his food, his iPhone, but also complete rooms. And this version is his bedroom. So the size of the object that we see here is the outside walls of his bedroom. He turned it 90 degrees. So if you would go behind it, there's a staircase going up, and there's a hole in the wall at like 4 or 5 meters high. And then you can put your head inside. And if you do that, you see his room from the perspective of lying in his bed and looking at what you see. But what's then beautiful again, if you go out and then you return again to this space, you start to notice that there are of course little holes everywhere that you can look from different perspectives also to the work. And then you see that he only finishes his bedroom from the bed itself. So if you are here and you look around the corner, you will see that maybe the plant is only painted on one side, or that the closet that you imagine is a closet is just a piece of paper. And actually Steen is a painter, and he just paints three-dimensional works. Also the show is completely made with material found here in the surrounding except paint, and also it works completely independent. The inside conditions are always exactly the same, so even the sunlight is painted as this one moment that he envisioned. The temporary use and the fun, and always seeing the space as an ongoing story, and that this building survives its original purpose, and every show is the starting point for another one. It has been a lot of fun, and I'm very curious where it will lead to in the next years. I have completely no idea.
Okay, so next I'm here at Kunsthal Gent, which is a 14th century monastery and since 2018 has been used as a site of exhibition and artistic development.
2018 there was another open call, which was an open call for the Kamerskloster, which is a former Carmelite monastery from the 13th century. So it has heavy, monumental, rich history. There was this open call to start a new space for contemporary art and production and development of art, because this building, it has the craziest history of being a monastery, but also then after the French Revolution becoming the Museum of Archaeology, and then later the Museum of Folklore, and then getting squatted and then being bought by another local government to turn it into a concert space, and then the acoustics were too bad, so it became a museum. At a certain moment the federal government said the building should be given towards the city of Ghent, so it became a gift to the city. They took the brave decision to say it's a space for contemporary art, so the contemporary art scene should do a proposal for it, and they did this call and everybody could apply for it. One of the rules was that it should be a new organization, and the organization should exist out of existing organizations that collaborate. O19 was very interested, together with Nucleo, which is an artist studio organization having 160 studios spread over the city. So we thought maybe we can give it a shot together. And we started a new organization called Kunsthal Gent, and we applied for the open call and we ended up getting it. We got the keys and we just started. Completely the opposite of O19. Like it's a monument. It's so old. It's big. It's clean. It has floor heating. It has everything that we don't have here, and the other way around. It has no freedom. You cannot drill a hole in the wall. The city, the heritage department, everybody's very involved, and they should be, because it's very valuable. It became something new for us as well, a big challenge, and also because the city threw in 250,000 euros of funding each year, which sounds as a lot of money, but knowing that you also have to pay fixed costs for that building, you have to pay people to work there, you have to pay the artist. Yeah. So actually the budgets, which were nice and were bigger than we ever had, it's still very small for a space of that size. So we had some problems. Super old building, super young organization, super big building, super small budget. So we came up with two plans. First of all, we are only open in the weekends, because during the week we're a space of production. There are artist residents, there are artists living inside Kunsthal Gent, and the whole building is a studio space. Not only for the artists, but also other art organizations, like for instance Art Cinema Off. So we try to be a space which is owned by a lot of different organizations to get the full potential out of there. And in the weekends we are an exhibition space.
This space is so magical.
How do you make these exhibitions in these contexts? So we talked to a lot of different people, and one proposal that we are currently executing, it's called the Endless Exhibition, and it's a project that was given to us by Prem Krishnamurti, who's an American exhibition maker, and he knew O19 very well, and he knew about how we are interested in stretching exhibitions over time, and he said, why not just have no end dates for your show? If it's not necessary, don't take down the other show. It's way more economic, it's more interesting financially, but also it's way more ecological. More people can see it. Also you have long-term relationships with the artists that way, and shows are never finished. We are not the owners of the work, but we take care of it and we play with it. At a certain moment the artist can always say, I want it back, but so far that never happened. And at the moment I think we have 17 shows on view. It means that our visitors have to be active, that they have to spend some time with the exhibition in order to get it. Yeah, it's definitely accumulating, and it was for 2 years, it was always an empty church. And then Martin Belou came, he started building all the structures, and then it kind of started changing. But also our first contract was only 4 years, so we always imagined like, why even think about taking things down if maybe in 4 years it's the end anyway? But at the same time, artworks have been changing, and there was the first artists, Thomas Mann and Egon van Herrewegen. They added 20,000 kilograms of concrete and steel to the exhibition space, and they are slowly taking slices of that work. So in 2 years that work will maybe be gone completely. So now that the church isn't this empty church anymore, artists also start thinking about different different way. So we have an artist making a contract with us, or there's a sound piece, or a 200-hour movie being on view. And at the same time, if it would get too full, we can always reset or do something else. I think it should not become a gimmick or something. And we also realize that it doesn't work for every artist. We actually see it more as a city which is growing, in which we build a cinema. We also even built a White Cube exhibition space. It's a bit the same as at O19 in that sense that it's a train that starts driving and we don't know where it will end. In the beginning, we were very scared, like how we're going to do these two spaces. But by having Kunsthal Gent, I think the profile of O19 became way more stronger. We stopped fighting this building. It rains inside. There's so many animals living in here, eating the exhibitions. If you fight it, you lose so much energy. While at Kunsthal, there are other issues that we have to fight against there. We just continue the story here as well. And it goes into a direction which goes far away from Kunsthal. The different kinds of attitudes, the different spaces for all the artists in the city is super interesting.